Bill Ross here, and I'm going to share the progress that we've made at St Mary's since the AGM in 2025, and we'll also look a bit to the future and what we might do with the East Sanctuary. The main thing that's happened is that we let the replastered vaulted ceilings dry out, and that took quite a bit of time, and dehumidifiers were involved, but I think it was started in February. The painting of the vaulted ceilings commenced and has now been finished. We now have a new letterbox. You can see in the door here, and this is at side on. So a new letterbox in the external door that faces onto Correction Wynd, and the door was repaired, filled in, sanded, etc., and a really nice gloss paint finish now. We have new hinges to the door that leads through to the sanctuary, and we repositioned the witness painting that was gifted to us from the United Reformed Church, and from the end of October 2025 we've had broadband delivered to the chapel, and we have the Wi-Fi connections. So we were granted a public entertainment license towards the end of November, and just last week we repositioned the BT broadband hub, so it's now located behind a panel next to the door to the kitchen. The harmonium now has a set of wheels on it. It has brakes on two of the wheels, but if you take off the brakes, we can easily wheel the harmonium to anywhere within the chapel. And we have a new volunteer, Hadi, who has put those wheels on and created the two shelves that you can see in this photo of the rear of the harmonium. North have re-glued a number of the blocks for the parquet flooring, not the whole floor, but the ones that had been dislodged due to people walking on them. And you can see they've done a great job in restaining and varnishing it. And then the handles and catches on the triple cupboard, with some interesting wood carvings as well, has been done by our volunteer. We've also purchased a sum up device. This allows us to take credit card payments or debit card payments for any publications, and we can also get donations by people tapping their card. I mentioned that we had dehumidifiers in to dry out the vaulted ceiling plasterwork. We've also purchased a dehumidifier so that we can keep the moisture levels in the chapel as low as the energy costs permit. So let's look to the future. More of the same and additional opportunities. We hope that the United Reformed Church will recommence their monthly Sunday service meetings in the chapel. On the first Saturday of the month, the doors will be open from, or 10:30 even, through to 3:30 in the afternoon. We'll have occasional talks, and we also have some talks by the Medkai Society that are scheduled for the afternoon of August the 2nd, if I remember correctly. Our friend Pauline Cordiner has had funding granted to her so that she can have a storytelling session sometime in July. What we want to do is share the heritage of this space, and we want to have something different, something to engage with Aberdeen public and tourists alike. Mentioned about the public entertainment licence. This is for a capacity of 50 people to attend an event, so that includes the performers and the stewards, and this also enables us to rent out the space to other organisations who could then charge for people to attend whatever event they're hosting. I mentioned last year about the purchase of these exhibition boards. They're currently through in the East Sanctuary, but they're available and we can configure them to different displays, and we can also use these exhibition boards to show what we've done to date and what our plans are for the future. So lots of options. Could be a small wedding venue, could be the venue for a craft fair, could possibly be a venue for whiskey or wine tasting. This wonderful venue could also be used by other organisations to hold their meetings or AGMs. Then we had a very successful collaboration with the Locked Door back in 2023. Didn't seem that long ago. Hopefully we could rekindle that connection and have some more escape room games in St Mary's Chapel either this year or in future years. We continue to try and build a good relationship with our neighbours, Scott Hart, who own the West Kirk and the Drummond Collison Isles. I think both buildings will be open to the public on Doors Open Day on the 5th of September. Right, so that's St Mary's. What about the East Sanctuary? Through that new, quite magnificent door, it looks very Gothic with the pointed arch and the new hinges. Well, through that door, it still looks very much like a building site. It's still very much a big empty space and a blank canvas to a certain extent. When we started the OpenSpace Trust, the idea was to build something new and meaningful available to the community and maybe a visitor space, etc. So there have been lots of ideas, and Groves Rains architects did various drawings. I think we've gone through various ideas of what the space might be. I think I'm right in saying that back in 2019, or certainly before the pandemic, we were looking at something in the order of 12 to 15 million pounds worth of expenditure to create this vision. With the pandemic and the inflation in building materials as well as labour costs in the construction industry, the figure of 15 million is going to be way too conservative, and we have an issue of, what is it realistically that we can raise by going to various funding bodies that, what reasonably realistic to think that we could raise to pay for a new structure within the East Sanctuary. So we maybe have to rethink. One of the ideas is that we floor just over the crypt and create an exhibition space within that single floor. And we do something with a smaller footprint. So it would either be just the level above St Mary's Chapel. So the roof of St Mary's Chapel is really the ground floor, and then we would maybe have one or two floors above that. But we need to clarify and refine our ideas, develop partnerships with organisations with archives. The idea is that if we have other organisations that would be willing to show their archives and exhibit in the space that we create, then maybe we can use their expertise to help with the funding effort. So yeah, we need to get 2026, 2027 realistic costs for doing such a development. So the new specification would be raked seating above the crypt and a large screen along the back wall of the chapel to project, moving pictures. Or we could maybe just use the existing gallery and have a screen up at that level that would be projected onto. We're looking to have exhibition spaces plus storage, and of course we need fire escape provision. We'd need toilets, male, female and wheelchair accessible, plus a lift. We are looking to maybe have a cafe with a small commercial kitchen. And then we're a ramp-like structure that would allow you to come down from the level of the new structure down onto the flat floor that we would create above the crypt. We look maybe to have 2 or 3 small to medium-sized meeting rooms that could be let out. And potentially we could have an entrance from the Drum and Collison Isles, but that requires more discussions with our neighbours at Scottart. And we'd like to showcase the medieval apse by having a glass floor over that part of the archaeology. If you bear with me with this sort of diagram, so we're looking by building above the St Mary's, you've got that sort of footprint for the development, and how much is this going to cost? Is it feasible? Other version, so we slide this bit back and you have more area that you can have on the floors above St Mary's. Again, is this feasible and how much would it cost? Additional resources required. We're always looking for people to help out, so we have got quite a number of volunteers, but yes, we do need more people to be involved in a rota to be able to open up the chapel and lock up the chapel when someone hiring the space has left. We do need more people to get involved in how we approach funding organisations and look to how we can get the funds to do the actual build. If you have any ideas on how we can grow the membership of the Open Space Trust, I would be delighted to hear from you, and any ideas how we can make this organisation future-proof and a sustainable entity going forward. I'd love to hear your ideas on that. Thank you very much for your time.